With that, why don't we call our meeting to order at 7:01 for our Foxborough Boyden Library Trustees meeting, Tuesday, April 13th. We'll need to start with a roll call, I believe. So we will start first with Deb Stone.
Present.
Christine Igo-Freeman.
Here.
Catherine Uden.
Here.
Joyce Parlapiano is not yet on. Kevin Penders.
Here.
And Colin Ernst here. And we have Janice Rosado from the Friends. We have Manny Leet. We have Pam Riccio also on the call. So with before we jump into public input, I'd like to start the meeting by hailing Deb for her comments.
Yes.
For 6 fantastic years, terrific service to our community, a wonderful member of this board of trustees. I know I've really enjoyed serving with you for all of my time on the board. You've made tremendous contributions, whether it was our financial funds, I've got my handbook behind me here, and many other things. So I just want to,
thank you.
Officially thank you and hail you for your work. We will miss you.
Thank you. You know, I did want the hail. I just wanted to say that, just very briefly, how much I've enjoyed this experience. And, you know, from the outside, it just looks like the library glides right along with just effortless excellence. But, you know, behind the scenes, there's so much work and there's so many great relationships that are being built. The trustees we have different points of view and different vocations, and it's so interesting to see how everybody participates and collaborates. It's been an excellent learning experience for me. I've learned so much from all of you, and I just want to say thanks. And I'm going to miss this, and it's maybe not forever. Just got to get my girl through college. Yeah. So thank you. Thanks for the hail, Colin.
You're welcome. Anybody else want to offer some comments before we move on? We'll take a minute and recognize Deb.
Yeah, I would just say, if I may, I'm happy to jump in and say, Deb, I think I don't think we can understate enough how important your role in this 6 years has been with the gift funds, as Colin mentioned. Getting that in order has been something you not only owned, but you owned it willingly and wrestled with it. And we are in a much better place because of it. Same with the trustee handbook. The other thing I would say also is, along with Christine, the willingness with which you jumped in to do the event planning, and especially with the Spinny Speaker Series. We would not have been nearly as successful with that without your involvement, and you bring an enthusiasm and energy that we're going to miss.
Oh, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Christine?
If I could just say too, Deb, it's been an honor and a pleasure serving with you. And I think the two of us being teachers have that bond. And it's been fun to be creative with you and use that creativity on the events committee with you over the years. So I'm going to truly miss you.
Hey, Janice.
I just want to say that when we announced at the Friends meeting, there was a lot of tears that you're going, Deb. But no, really, people really sad to hear that. We've all enjoyed working with you, and we wish you all the best. And we hope we'll see you again soon. Mm-hmm. We'll see you in the library for sure.
Thank you, everyone. Those are nice words. Appreciate that. Thanks.
Catherine, you wanted to say something?
Yes. And I just wanted to say thanks for, just keeping it light and going and always being like, the happiness in the room. Not to say that you all aren't happy, but you can always count on Deb to get a chuckle and a smile and keep it light. So thank you.
Thanks, Catherine. Thank you.
I just want to echo what everyone has said, Deb. I know I'll see you around the library.
Yeah.
So besides being a trustee, you're also an educator in town. And then you're also a very proud dog mom. And remember the puppies, the litter of puppies? What was that, about a year ago?
About a year ago, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I just had to give them peanut butter stuffed Kongs, the Kongs. so that I could sit down on the meeting. So once the peanut butter stops lasting, I'll have to go on mute. We're close. Thanks,
Very
Manny.
strategic. Well, we're certainly going to miss you, Deb, and you know, we're going to stretch this meeting out to a good 3 hours, so we don't have to let you go yet. So. And we hope to be able to raise a toast to you at some point when things are back open, and properly salute you and maybe spend some nice time with you off camera and offline. All right. So anyone else before we jump in? So, okay, again, Deb, thanks. And we'll savor this last meeting with you and the great work and as Catherine said, the energy and joy during the meeting. And balance out Kevin's grumpiness, you know.
We all have our roles. We all have our.
That's right. Important place. All right. All right. So public input. Manny, is there any public input?
I know there were a few emails for a topic that's in the agenda for our discussion. So I don't know if you want to address it now or.
Yeah, Kevin, was that where you're going as well?
I just wanted to note for the record, because you had called attendance earlier, Joyce has joined us, and I just want to make sure that that's recorded.
Thank you.
So yeah, in terms of public input, we did receive some emails regarding the hours of the library, which I know is going to be part of our later discussion, but I thank you, Manny. I did want to acknowledge that in this part of our agenda, some helpful feedback from one of our longtime patrons regarding urging us to reconsider hours, but also some concerns about the communication in terms of when the hours, you know, on the website in terms of when the building was going to be open. I realized we had some challenges from a tech standpoint, but wanted to acknowledge that. And you know, Kevin and I both had some dialogue with the individual via email, and again, appreciated the feedback we received. And we'll come back to that topic later in the agenda today. Okay. Next, minutes from our March 9 meeting. Any comments or corrections to the meetings submitted by Pam? Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Kevin, seconded by Christine. All in favor, we'll go and do our roll call. I can't wait till we don't have to do this anymore. Roll call. Deb Stone.
Yep, I approve.
Christine Igo-Freeman.
Approve.
Catherine Uden.
Approve.
Joyce Parlapiano.
Approve.
Kevin Penders.
Approve.
And Colin Ernst, I approve. That's 6-0-0. All right. Manny, correspondence.
No correspondence.
No correspondence. All righty. Joy, Janice, with our Friends report, and we got a lot going on with Friends. I had the opportunity to attend the last meeting. Lots to share.
Yes. The big thing that's going on is been the book donations drop-offs. They've been really, really successful. We've got some great books. With More Than Words opening back up and coming in and picking up, it's really helped that we can, anything that, you know, isn't quite up to standard, we have a good place for them to go. So we're finding homes for everything. And we have our last one on the 24th. The thing is I'm helping Leslie Ann. So soon as it goes live, usually all the appointments are taken within a few hours. So what I've been doing is I'm taking the people's names that don't get an appointment. And if we can't fit them in, I'm signing them up prior to releasing the next time. So I already have 5-6 people ready for the next time. And we're doing about, I think about 20 people dropping off, and it's just been great. We had a young student who her mother had contacted me back in the winter. She wants to volunteer. She's 14 years old. So we had her come and help us. and it was great. We had more than enough people, so I had Margie took her up because we had a bunch of books that needed to be shelved, and they were like, I couldn't believe that there was a table just full with stacks and stacks of books, and I went up at an hour later and they had them all sorted. So Margie had her running back and forth between the tutoring and this sorting room, so she kind of learned our drill, so it worked out really well, and she's going to come back and support us at the next one and probably at the book sale. So it was nice to have a nice young volunteer. The question I have for you tonight is back, I think it was February, and it was Dave, when I couldn't go to the meeting, asked about having an outdoor book sale. Things have changed a little bit now. We have a lot of people vaccinated, and particularly library patrons, our sale patrons. And we wanted to ask if we could have the option of holding an indoor sale like we did in November. So we would use the same spaces, the same protocols. We would have by appointment, the masks and all that stuff. It's just, if we have it indoors, it's a lot. We can run it for 3 days as opposed to 1. It's less moving things back and forth. We don't have to worry about rain. And people seem pretty comfortable with that. So I wanted just to ask you for the option of holding it either way. And then Manny would be, we'll make the final decision with Manny at like the end of the month. Does anybody have any questions or objections to that?
My only comment would be that opens up the parking too, if we're not using the space. So that helps in both ways.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, it just it'll be more normal for people too. So it'll make it a little easier to execute. I think it was a great idea. I mean, obviously, outdoor sale on a nice day would be lovely, but middle of May, you never know what you're going to get. And it is a lot of work. And I hate to say this, but I guess I can because I'm one of them. We're getting older, and lugging all those books all the way outside and then packing them up and lugging we were going to have to rent tables. Whereas if we have it indoors, we can use the tables from the library. So with a few extra of us. So I think certainly my preference and the executive committee's preference would be to have it indoors. But we'd hold the outdoor option just in case something unexpected happened between now and then.
Thanks, Janice. Any questions, comments, concerns from the trustees, or Manny, do you have a perspective on this as director?
Yeah, I have no objection at all. If it's held inside, I'm perfectly fine with that. I've already alerted staff that there may be a change in location for the book sale, but absolutely, whatever we can do to help the friends, we're here for them because they're always here for us.
Thanks.
Trustees, any concerns with the proposal?
I guess I don't have a concern as much as I have a question. So in terms of entry and egress for the building and for the sale, I'm assuming you'll want to use the Friends room, Janice.
Friends room? What do you mean?
The what I think of as the big meeting space in the first floor.
No. We're going to do it the same way as we did in November, which we held the sale. We didn't use the conference rooms at all.
Okay.
We used everything was.
Maybe you could just walk back through that again for me.
Okay, certainly. So what we did is, because that we couldn't use the conference room and the Friends room, what is it called? Community room. There we go. Because
I think of it as the Friends room because of the sponsorship you guys did. For
okay. Because that's where all the books are being held in quarantine. So what we worked with Manny and we found spaces. So we used the cafe for the children's. We had all the children's books up in the cafe. We had all the adult books down in the front of the reading room and the old entryway. So we did have to just shut down those areas for a few days, but I actually put signs out like that Monday, letting people know that as of 5 o'clock on Wednesday, the spaces wouldn't be available. for, so that we could have our sale. And then we even had like our media, like the CDs and DVDs, we put that in front of the tutoring room. So we try to really spread things out. People came in by like Tim's reference desk. We were right across from that. And that way we could, it was a good spot to check people in because we could point, this is where this is, this is where this is. And then they would go out, collect their books and come back and sign out. It worked really, really well.
And that was the other thing I wanted to confirm with you is you're still planning to do like you did in November with signed or sign-in designated times for people to be able to come.
Yes. I think we might talk, we had 10 per hour. I think Leslie Ann said, we'd double check the numbers with Manny, but I think 10 was kind of, we weren't pushing the envelope at all with having 10 based on the things. So maybe we'd go up a couple, but we wouldn't do many more than 12 or 15 and for a half an hour because you need to give people enough time. So they were half an hour slots.
So my only comment, Colin, would be if the friends want to move forward with this and if Manny has no reservations about moving forward with that, I would be on board with it. I think the friends they've certainly answered and continually had to answer a series of questions that I've asked over the course of COVID protocols. So I appreciate their patience with doing that and their attention to detail in doing that. My only issue would be if they want to raise the headcount number, and I'm not objecting to that, Janice, just to be really clear. If they want to raise the headcount number, they're doing that in consultation with Manny so that it's not in any way cutting back on what Manny would want to see for non-book sale patronship.
Right, absolutely. We don't do anything without checking with Manny, believe me.
So I found that to be a pretty good rule of thumb.
Yeah. No, we probably check with him. We have I'll check with the Margie. I'll check with them. I'm like, Margie, did you check with them? Because and then I'll check with them. But yeah, no, we definitely will run through everything with Manny beforehand. And we have another friends meeting. And actually, we probably would. When is would be the trustees meeting? We would actually even have another trustees meeting because we would run this on the 12th. So I can let you know for sure.
The second week in May, right?
Yeah. So I couldn't let you know at the next trustees meeting exactly what we've decided. It just seemed beneficial to kind of hold off a few more weeks to make a final decision, but I'm pretty sure it will go indoors.
No, I really appreciate. So as the skunk at the garden party on some of the other discussions, I really do appreciate the thoughtfulness with which you and the friends have re-engaged your usership and asked us to re-engage them as well. And I think you've done it in a really thoughtful, considerate, and COVID safe way. So I just want to, I do appreciate the fact that you've done that and that you've been responsive to us on those questions.
Well, you're certainly welcome. Leslie Ann has been heading this up and she's been very meticulous. And where she works in the school department, she has, good sense of what needs to be done. So, and I think she's executing wonderfully. So I can't take the credit. It's really Leslie Ann.
I also want to say with the addition of, of Margie, part of the Friends Board, I mean, she brings such a wealth of experience that she's been so valuable the past few meetings. So that's been an excellent addition.
Margie has been incredible. I was talking to Manny last week and I said, I can't believe when I asked her if she'd be considered being a friend, she was a little hesitant. And I think she thought we were going to make her president like day one, maybe next year. But
day 3, yeah, right. Exactly.
But she has, I think she has raised her hand on many things and she seems to really be enjoying it. And it's been a pleasure as always working with her. And it's just been great to have all of her expertise. And I think it's kind of, a new retiree. I know what it's like. It's kind of nice to find some things to fill your day too. So I think it's been a win-win.
Well, I will say I felt a little sandbagged when I dropped off all my books for my designated slot, because you had like the Friends Hall of Fame sitting there waiting for me. It was, I mean, I had family members, former library employees, and just all around general friends. So I felt like this was the perfect showcase moment to say, Kevin's been a PIA on a lot of this stuff, so let's all show up and make sure that he's behaving. But it worked. So it was a convincing show, if nothing else. I am definitely 100% on board.
Well, thank you. I one more thing on the drop off. We've found that when people know they're handing us their books, they have been very, we have had better quality. Let's just say we haven't really had too many moldy books, You always get a few, but the quality's been really good, and that's been helpful. And I don't know if I told you before, I got Brigham and Women, one of their community outreach people or whatever had asked me about them collecting books, and they're collecting books on behalf of the Friends, and they're going to be delivering them to us on the last day, April 24th. So she's keeping me appraised of how many books, because I was a little nervous, but she said she has like 2.5 boxes right now. So I said, that's fine. Up to 10 boxes we can handle. So, but it's kind of nice that, we're partnering with them. So, but that's all I had.
So Manny, anything else on the proposed changes? Do we need to take an official vote on this?
Yeah.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion for the library sale to be held indoors, unless there is, peanut butter ran out, unless there is an unforeseen change for it to be outdoors. Does that cover it?
Yeah, I think so.
At the director's discretion?
At the director's discretion.
Following the protocols as used in November?
Yes.
Sounds good.
Second.
Second.
Okay.
Catherine and Kevin. So we'll vote on this one at a time. Deb Stone.
Okay, I approve.
Okay. Christine Igo Freeman.
Approve.
Catherine Newton.
Approve.
Joyce Parlapiano.
Approve.
Kevin Penders.
Approve.
Colin Ernst. Approve. 600. Janice, thank you. As always, for the phenomenal work the Friends do, and great enthusiasm for this next book sale. Great.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks for bringing out the big
much.
guns when Kevin dropped off his stuff.
Well, thank you all for your support. I appreciate it.
Thank you for your support. All righty, on to professional staff reports.
Just a brief update on the departments. So Jessica in youth services, she has been working very hard with the summer reading program. And she has a whole host of programs that are going to be all held outdoors, and they're going to be held at the town common. Everything from magic shows to music, puppet shows, learning how to draw cartoons, family concerts, and we are bringing back the teddy bear picnic. Teddy bear picnic will be back, and I forgot the date already. It's in July. Janice may have it. It is in July. We're also going to have, for the summer reading, we're going to have a teen summer kickoff party, which will include Dairy Queen stopping by with treats. And just so everything is clear, we did get a apply, and we received a 1-day food permit, even though it's not technically held inside the library. It's going to be held at the town common, but it's a library program, so we do have a food permit for that day through the Board of Health. So Jessica has been working on that. Suzanne is continuing to purchase DVDs, YA books, and CDs, and As usual, a little highlights for CDs. I highly recommend the Allman Betts Band CD, which is fantastic, and the New Dinosaur Jr. local band. Kathy Bell Harney is continuing to weed in the older fiction collection. And the term weed, if you're asking what does weeding mean? Well, that's a library term where we basically do an inventory of the collection and see if there are books that have seen better days. If that's the case, what Kathy will do is she will check to see the number of circulations or if it's an extremely popular title. Example, say Stephen King's It. Our book may not be in the best shape, so she'll order a new one. So she's doing that. She does that annually. So does Tim. So does Suzanne, and so is Jessica as well. Last month, I believe it was last month, we talked about Library Aware, and Kathy Bell Harney did create a April newsletter in Library Aware, and it was emailed to all our Boyden patrons. And Kathy is responsible for purchasing the fiction. I just wanted to point out, we mentioned before the Spinny Speaker series, but our Chris Boljalian, who we had a couple of years ago, he does have a new book that's been getting rave reviews, Hour of the Witch. It's been getting phenomenal reviews. I just wanted to point that out. And then Tim over in Reference, he recently placed a large science fiction fantasy order. He's also weeding as well in the nonfiction. He's also purchasing, well, not purchasing, but ordering more tax forms because the date had been extended to May. So he's been doing that, and he's answering questions for patrons either via email or either in person or on the phone. So he's doing that, and we're keeping busy.
Okay, questions for Manny? Yeah, Kevin.
I have two with respect to professional staff reports. Number one, would it be possible in May for Jessica to visit us and give us a sense of her summer schedule, like what she's looking to do during the summer, rather than just the reference to it here, because it's sort of a one-line reference. I just think it would be great to know more about what she's envisioning and how exciting it is, and sort of where the programming all falls in on that. And I'm delighted to see that she's doing something that's teen driven included in that, especially given our discussions with AdCom and others about the importance of that unserved segment of our population for usership. So that's question one.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And since we don't meet in the summertime, and I don't think I've ever asked you this before, but since we don't meet in the summertime, I think it would be great for us to know this sort of as an annual cycle thing. That's just me. I'm not speaking for everybody else here, but I think it would be great to know going into the season what that looks like, so that we're not just seeing it reactively, but we can be excited about it when we're talking to folks in town as well as to what's going on, and we're not just waiting for the announcement to come out. We know in advance. So that's something that I guess I would ask you to think about going forward. But that was all part of question one.
Yeah.
So now I have to remember what question two was. So that was all part of question one. Question two, I can't remember what question two was, so I'll just stop and say, I can't believe that Dinosaur Jr. is still putting out albums in light of the fact that I was playing them on an alternative radio station in college. So that's bananas to me.
I think what you're going to ask, Kevin, was if Manny could write a weekly column in the Foxborough Report reviewing the new albums that are purchased. Was that what you're going to ask?
Colin, I feel like I'm being channeled, but sure, I'll ask that as my second question. If it comes back to me, I'll ask what my actual second question was, but I'll stop there for now.
Record reviews with Manny Leet.
I just wanted to say that Jessica has been a dynamo in lining up all these programs, and she's been working with the friends, what we could do to help. She, I think she wanted to do get Pat Patriot to come, and she asked for our help, and Margie's helping her write the proposal. It's just a great relationship all around, and she's very enthusiastic, and she reaches out to us all the time. And I think it'd be great for you guys to see her, even if it's on Zoom, and catch that enthusiasm.
I totally agree, Janice. And I think, so having been as a trustee in another library, I got to say the unique circumstance we have here is very different than what other libraries have. The relationship between Jessica and with the Friends, the relationship between library staff and the Friends, we are wonderfully blessed in that. And I certainly wouldn't want to get in the way of any of it. But I think it's, I think this is just one more opportunity for us as, as the folks elected to this board in town to know, to keep that line of communication open for us as well and more regular. So I 100% agree. The fact that you guys know it and that you get to see the enthusiasm in it and that you've got Margie participating in it, that's so fantastic. And I think it's something that really we can only hope to add to it.
Yeah, I think, like I said, it's just not just Jessica, but I mean, even the library staff, like Kathy Lowy, she'll email me like, is more than words coming? They're coming. This is what's going on. We have a question. And, it's just, and Bernadette's in the library all the time and touch bases with everyone. We do. We have a great relationship with you guys and the staff, and it works really well. I'm done.
Amen.
Any other questions or comments on professional staff reports from trustees? We have a motion for Manny's review column. I'm kidding. So moved by Pender. No. Bernie, on to let Manny off the hook. On to financial reports. Anything you want to highlight, Manny, or any questions from the trustees?
So we're about 3/4 of the way through our fiscal year. So we should be around 75% as far as budget wise expended. We're currently at about 72%. There are some big ticket items when it comes to our security system and annual fee. So that'll, take up some of the money. But right now we're in a good position, where we are right now. And we'll be close to 100% by June 30th. So I do want to acknowledge Kathy Belharney and Tim Golden and Suzanne Roberts and Jessica Henderson and Pam in the other room for just working with me and just working on this budget, making sure that we use the money wisely, and we have, especially during these times when it comes to purchasing new books, new movies, new furniture, new databases, stuff for staff too, when it comes to everything from notepads to pens or to staplers, bookbinding services. So we're doing well right now.
Excellent. Any comments or questions? Kevin.
Manny, just to follow up on that, and in the grand scheme of the operating budget, it's not a big deal, but you have a number of different items that are on this monthly report that are in excess of 100%.
Yeah.
So how do we reconcile that from an expenditure point of view?
Yeah.
And are you taking those dollars from other line items in order to make payment? And have we as a group adjusted for that in the budget that we're asking town to approve for next year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not going to be at 100% for certain line items. I can tell you right now, bookbinding will not, as well as postage. I mean, right now we're at around 72% when it comes to postage. We won't get to that. We won't get to 100. So I know there are a few line items that we did go over 101 on one of them and 108%. The bottom line
and 163 on Hoopla, Canopy, and Friegel.
Right.
I mean, it's not a big ticket item,
right?
It's still something that we're going to be asked about potentially by AdCom and others later.
bottom line, that bottom number, it will not exceed 100%. It definitely won't. Between myself and working with Pam and everyone, I knew there was going to be a few, especially with Hoopla. I mean, we saw such a huge gain in Hoopla usage due to the pandemic that, and it continuing to see a pretty large, significant usage, which is great that our patrons are using that.
I agree.
Yeah. But yeah, bottom line, we will not exceed 100%.
But I think along with that is the question that that I think we all have to be thinking about, which is what we're seeing with that streaming need something that is going to carry forward even when we are back to full operation, Manny? And if so, are we budgeting for it correctly going forward?
I'm going to answer yes. And if you look at our budget for next fiscal year, FY22, you are going to see an increase in that, because let's face it, we're seeing an increase in our lives when it comes to streaming. My goodness, there's so many different platforms coming out, and right now the movies aren't open, or if they are, they're very few and far between. So if you're going to watch King Kong versus Godzilla, you're going to watch it at home on the HBO Max streaming, or a TV show, or whatever. And you're seeing more and more of that. And I think it's obviously because of the pandemic and people are home. But I mean, the quality and the content that's coming out is insane when it comes to all these different platforms. I think more people are just staying home. I have the MLB package, and I can watch a baseball game every night. So I think you're going to see an increase in that. And same thing when I talk about CDs. I mean, I get all my stuff through an Amazon Music platform. That's how I get my music. But, you're going to start seeing less of that. I think you're going to see more of the streaming when it comes to movies, TV, music. You're going to see an increase in that, and it'll reflect in the FY22 budget, because that's certainly a trend that's going up.
Okay. Any other comments or questions on budget? Appreciate pointing that out, Kevin. Okay, why don't we move on to director's report, please?
So instead of me talking about the wonderful Zoom meetings that I have almost every day, I'm actually going to talk about something that started on Friday. So the town manager and the assistant town manager asked for myself, asked for the head of rec, Debbie Giardino, Mark Craig, the department head for Council on Aging, and then Allie Rodericks, the head of Veteran Services, to get together. The town manager was thinking of doing something to basically, things are starting to open up, and basically do something to reopen Foxborough, to have maybe a series of events or ideas. I mean, right now we're still brainstorming when it comes to, reaching out to the citizens, saying that, we're not fully back, but we're back, but not at 100%. But just there's been a lot of stress. Everyone has been stressed over various things over these past 14, 15 months. So just looking for another avenue that we can provide some sort of entertainment to the residents of Foxborough. And as a matter of fact, the town manager will be speaking about this tonight at the select board meeting. And he came up with a great concept of a straw hat day, to go back to the straw hat, making here in Foxborough, and creating some sort of a slogan like "we're weaving back" or something. So the four of us are working on various programs. Obviously, for the library, it can't be held indoors. It would have to be something outdoors. They were thinking, and don't quote me on this, but sometime in June, like a weekend in June, having like a host of events, and you'd wear, like Kevin has, a straw hat, and staff would be encouraged to wear a straw hat, and I'll wear a straw hat, and it's kind of like a little the town getting back together, having a like a group here. So that just started. And Hi, Janice.
I just wondered, in this conversation, did Founder's Day come up?
Possibly, yeah.
Okay, because that's what, I'm not on the other meeting right now. My husband's on the Founder's Day meeting, because we were trying to figure out what we could do. And when you said June,
Yeah.
so if they haven't already, if there's something that the Founder's Day committee could do to help, I'm sure they would be willing to. That's all I want to say.
That would be great. Oh, I like that, Catherine. Hats off to Foxborough. I like that. Yeah, all getting together. I know Allie spoke about getting an army band, and well, I'm sure we'll work on something. I know town manager said, well, how about a book sale? I'm like, well, we're going to have one in May. I don't think the friends are going to want another book sale in June, not that quick. Same thing with Rec. They'll be doing something over in their location. So this is at a beginning stage, and I'll be updating everyone once I get more information, but we're meeting on a weekly basis, and we've had 2 meetings so far. So we're still at the beginning stage, but I know Bill was going to mention that this evening, that this little group is working on something for Foxborough, and it may not be in June, it may be later in July or August, but just something to get everyone together and say, all right, I think the worst part is behind us. Let's show some unity in Foxborough. Hats off to Foxborough with the straw hats.
So the only thing that I want to make a comment is, as Janice said, we're both on the Founders Day committee, and last week we were talking about, how we're obviously not going to have a traditional Founders Day because we plan, 9 months in advance. But we were also trying to figure out who we could piggyback on or join forces with. But the other thing we have to be aware of and concerned of is that the outdoor meeting capacity of the state.
Yeah.
So there are, yes, it's outside and more people are vaccinated, but there still are outdoor meeting rules and numbers that we have to be aware of.
And that was brought up. We would definitely comply with state guidelines. I know, I think it was Mark Craig brought up, he went to a concert and there were pods, 6 feet apart. And there was a group in a pod, like your family were together watching a concert. So yeah, we definitely would adhere to the state guidelines. And some other fun news. Tomorrow, the Garden Club is going to stop by the library and bring a few flower arrangements for the library. They're going to be bringing some to the Council on Aging. They're going to bring some to Town Hall. They're going to bring some here, which will be nice. It'll brighten up the library. We'll have it in different locations. So I do want to thank the Garden Club that reached out today. And also tomorrow, as far as tech news, we have a new server that's going to be installed.
Flowers and servers, big week.
Yeah.
Christine.
Just a quick question about the kind of like the hats off to Foxborough. Are they planning that for like a day, a weekend?
I think it might be a day, but these events would be at different locations.
Yeah.
But we can't, and I explained, we still can't have indoor programming. So we would have to have it out on the common, or we'd have to have it somewhere else. So then we could have a concert, we could have another children's program. I know the rec department's probably going to do a children's program. So maybe we go the teen route and do a teen program, or maybe have the Grateful Dads come and play. So we gotta figure, starting to brainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Thank you.
Anything else? No. Deb, did you have something or no? No, okay.
No, I'm good. Yeah.
All right. Liaison reports, subcommittee reports, anything to report on those reports?
Nope.
Okay. On to new business. Anything for new bit? Go ahead, Kevin. Yep, go ahead, Kevin.
Sorry, I guess before we move on from liaison reports, one of the things we should think about, and I'm not suggesting we need to think about it for tonight's meeting, but maybe we need to table it. Excuse me, I'm beeping at the same time. I don't know why, but thank you. So one of the things we probably need to think about for the May meeting before we break for the summer is whether or not we hope to move forward with a speaker series in the fall.
Yeah, I started thinking about that, and I think there are still so many questions. I mean, if we do one in the fall, would we have a limited capacity, or do we hold off until the spring of 2021? I don't know. I get 2022, excuse me. But yeah, I've been thinking about that too, Kevin, because everything is still, things are getting better, but I know things are still up in the air. But we don't have to make a decision tonight. But yeah, that's something to think about.
I think it's worth chatting about next month. I think every passing month there's a little more clarity.
Yeah.
And what's going to be on my mind is, is there at the point in time when we begin to explore and then make commitments to a speaker, is there enough clarity that we're not going to end up committing dollars to an event that either needs to be canceled or postponed? And with those certainly valuable dollars that are either part of our funds or donated by community members. So I think I'm glad you brought it up. It's been on my mind as well. Why don't we kind of revisit and have at least just some discussion next month and see how we're feeling, and we may end up punting to the fall to talk again, depending on how much clarity we have. But that's kind of my take.
So the only thing I'd add to that, and I'm 100% in agreement that we should talk about it next month substantively rather than tonight. Obviously, to the extent that we hope to get somebody who, if we choose to move forward in the fall, we're hoping to get somebody that's a marquee personality in order to draw. That takes a lot of lead time. The only reason I bring it up is because we tabled this past September intentionally, knowing that we were foregoing that event for us, or the series of events for us this past year due to COVID. If we were planning to do that come this current fall, and so that's why I'd ask everybody to be mindful of that for next month's discussion. That's going to require a lot of lead time and uncertainties, and is going to require us to be intentional about it, because I don't think we can come back in the fall and say, now let's do it. That's just my take. I don't think that's particularly worthwhile to do. I'd rather we make an intentional decision in whether it's May or even a special in June to make that determination, then try to slap something together in the fall because circumstances have changed.
Okay, seen some heads nodding. Seems like a good plan to revisit, have some discussion in May about how we want to either make some calls or whether it's a special in June or whatnot. And I think we'll have a better sense of what the fall could look like. If there is reduced capacity to some extent through the fall, a marquee name to get a big draw may be irrelevant, because we can't do a big draw. And a speaker series may just look different as a way to gather community. So I'm kind of getting in the next month's meeting, so I won't. But let's chat more about it next month.
Yeah.
I have one other new business item. Anything else folks have for new business? The other new business, and just want to bring up, as we know, elections coming up. Joyce and I both running for seats. We have one seat that is not, will go unfilled unless Deb changes her mind tonight. But
or is in by a majority of the people in the town of Foxborough.
You've all heard it, Foxborough. So certainly we'll have the seat open, and we'll have some conversation about seeking some candidates to then put forward to the select board, as we've done in the past. The other thing I wanted to put out there, in addition to the vacant trustee seat, is the executive roles on the Board of Trustees. Next month, we'll have some conversation around board chair, vice chair, which Deb is serving at this past year, and the role of clerk that Christine has served. I'd like folks to give some thought to those 3 roles, give some consideration to if you'd like to serve any one of those roles, and we can we'll have our elections next month, if I'm correct. And we can chat offline if you have questions. Happy to chat with you offline between now and then, but let folks to give some consideration to that because we have some roles to fill.
Mm.
Cool. Questions, comments? All righty. On to old business. Manny.
Okay, so website update. Evan, who's going to be handling our website, he did receive first half of the payment. He did reach out to me. He is working on, and forgive me because I don't know some of these tech terms, porting content. And he's setting up a template. So he did reach out. He asked, will the logo, the current logo that's on our website, will that be used on the new website? And I said, absolutely, that will be on there. So he's working on that. And then he's going to reach out to the committee. I did have to provide him a list of individuals that will be adding some input when it comes to the new website. And I believe Colin and Catherine saw that. I had like a list of who's going to be involved. So that's the update next month. Hopefully my update includes having like a first meeting and, further along on the new website.
Okay.
Coronavirus, I don't have a lot because I think we're all kind of coronavirused out. I will say that more libraries are open now. We had a neighboring library stop by 2 weeks ago that had not opened since last March, and they opened up last week. They were very reluctant. They still had questions about bathrooms and all that has come along when it comes to opening libraries. And they noticed that we've been open since July and we haven't closed. And I just explained the precautions that we still take to this day. We still haven't let up on any of that. But now they're open. There's still a few libraries and sales that have not opened yet, but the majority are open. Maybe not their full amount of hours, but at least they're open. So that's a good sign. As far as here, we'll talk about the hours in a few moments. But yeah, just still going.
Yeah, I made the comment at the Friends meeting last week just regarding the openings of libraries across the Commonwealth. And I was driving my car and listened to an article or a story on WBZ about a library. I can't remember where it was. I think it was north of Boston somewhere. The story was about them starting to implement the drive-up hours, the drive-up service. And it was kind of this, their position of the story is something new and innovative. And, we're now reopening. Gosh, we've been doing that for 10 months now, I think, more than that. So it just, listening to that story and how there's been very different approaches across the state and how the team here has done a fantastic job of safely and thoughtfully opening the services up to the community. So I thought I was just struck by that and very glad that we have what we have here.
The one thing that I've said to directors that are still hesitant or they just open, as I said, remember, you're going to learn how to pivot. Something's going to happen. You just have to, work around it or seek another solution. Not everything's set in stone. Even here, there's been just a few little things where we just had to make minor tweaks, but who's to say, you just have to learn to adapt. And this is all new. No one's been through this before unless they, 100 years ago, they were around for the Spanish flu, but I highly doubt that.
I know you wanted to talk about extending the hours.
Sure. And I do have an attachment with a letter. I spoke about this last month about increasing library hours of operation. And I know we had a communication from a resident after, following that meeting with support. So I was seeking to increase our hours. It's basically 6 hours. So we would be open all 4 nights. And one of the reasons behind this, I'm looking at the schools. So I believe it's, and forgive me, is it the 26th of April where grades 5 through 12, they'll be back in session. They'll be back at school. So they're going to need the
6 to 12,
library
yeah.
as an outlet because maybe they can't make it on a Monday night or a Wednesday night or a Saturday. That maybe Thursday night is their only night that they can come and pick up their books or do research. So, I think it's just something that we as the library need to open up. I think we've been smart about things. Again, if I felt like there's no way, then I wouldn't have brought this up. I've spoken with staff about this, got their opinion. They had no issues with that. Spoke with Pam, working with we'll keep on having the door monitors, which we do. None of that's going to change. The capacity is still at 20%. We haven't even touched that yet. I mean, if we ever do, and we could increase, it'll certainly go to the board for a vote, but we haven't gotten there yet. But I do think it's time that we open up those 6 additional hours in case a teacher or a student needs to attend the library. And there are other libraries. I'll just give 2 examples of Walpole and Seekonk. They're open, their regular schedule now, and they haven't had any issues. And it's just another step moving forward. I thought this was the right time. And if approved, I was actually thinking, because I like to start things at the beginning of the month, it would be Monday, May the 3rd. So the hours would be Monday through Thursday, 10 in the morning till 8. So that would be the increase. And then Friday and Saturday, we're still open our hours.
Questions, comments? Manny, any thought about, I know it's kind of tidy to do things at the turn of the calendar.
Yeah.
Any thought of making this change to match what the schools are doing in terms of being back full time?
I had thought about that, but the 3rd of May actually works with when it comes to staffing and scheduling as well. So that's my reason as well. Certain department, they'll be ready by the 3rd of May. If we do it any sooner, Kathy Belharney, who works the schedule, it's going to be a little messy. I just can't go in too much detail, but it works out better May 3rd. I like to start things on the 3rd, but it actually works out best for the staff that they'll all be ready and vaccinated by May 3rd and everything.
I guess I'm confused if it's just an extension of hours to what the hours typically were. And forgive me because I'm not as close to this, and I don't mean to micromanage on. I'm just not clear on the obstacles.
Without getting into specifics, it's just certain staff work those evenings, on those Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then switching the schedule switches other. It'd be a mess, and it's easier this way. And if there were any questions or concerns from staff when it comes to this, it has eased if we open on May 3rd. If we open earlier, there may be situations or issues. I wish I could go into more. I apologize for being so broad about it, but
okay.
Yeah.
Kevin?
I guess my question would be, Manny, whether or not you could staff those 6 hours with volunteers if you had them, if we were to go as Colin's asking and coincide with the opening of the schools.
Can't have volunteers work behind the circulation desk, and that's a sales policy.
What's the rationale for that policy?
Public information when it comes to the catalog has patron information.
No, I don't mean volunteers like me. I mean a volunteer from staff.
Are you talking subs?
I guess I'm talking using the existing library staff resource, whether that be full-timers
Yeah.
who are volunteering to take an extra shift or subs.
Well, as far as staff taking extra shifts, that would equal overtime. And that's a whole issue that that wouldn't be pleasant. So yeah, I wouldn't do the overtime thing. May 3rd works. I mean, it's up to you, but I'm just saying it'd just be a lot easier for staff, for the staffing, for the schedules for May 3rd. So it'd be 1 week after grades 5 through 12 are back in school. And it's only 2 nights. It's the Tuesday night and Thursday night.
Christine?
I'd just like to make a suggestion that I feel like I don't want to put Manny in a corner here. So I think if he's saying that the staff is ready to go on May 3rd, I think they've been remarkable, and all of them have been amazing that the library has been open for as long as it has. And I think maybe we need to empathize here, and it's only a few nights. So if school's open on whatever, the 24th, and the library opens the week later, it just sounds like it's going to be all around better for everyone involved. So I guess I'm just saying, I think maybe you should just listen to our director. And if he's saying things are going to be ready to go the next week, then maybe we should honor that. Just a suggestion.
Yeah, Christine, I would agree. I trust your leadership. It's our job to give you feedback and guidance. Trust your leadership on this. I would like to maybe offline, you and I can have a conversation just so I can understand some of the logistics and factors at play. But I agree with Christine's guidance in terms of recognizing the flexibility and effort of the staff, and trusting your call on this personally. But I trust other trustees. If you have strong feelings one way or the other, would love to hear that.
We can certainly have that conversation, Colin. Yeah.
No, I'm comfortable with starting May 3rd. I think if that's how it's unfolding nicely, then we should go with it. Yeah.
Joyce, Catherine?
How will we get notice out to the community that that the 3rd is expanding hours? Obviously,
we would have the email blast. We do have we can't do much on our website right now, but if you notice on our website now, on the top right, there is a block where it has library hours. That can be removed. So all the library hours are as is.
Okay.
So then we don't have to worry about that. It would also go, Kathy Bell-Harney does a column in the Foxborough Reporter every other Thursday. So it would be in the column as well. I could also see if I could put it on the town common.
Okay.
I don't know how the signage has been going lately. And then we also have those monitors when you enter the library. So we could have, business as usual or something, and we have the hours of operation there. And then also word of mouth, from our staff to our patrons when they're checking out materials and say, hey, we're back open. Yeah.
One other suggestion is, we could support a local nonprofit, and you could put an announcement up on the billboard at the Maryland Rodman Center.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah. yeah, I believe Pam reached out to them about when Margie retired, so we can do that as well.
Good feedback on the proposal from Manny.
I guess my only comment would be, I think, whatever we could do to levelize the nights and get folks extra hours of operation within the current operating restrictions that we have in terms of, safe circulation of patrons, I'm fully in support of.
Would someone like to make a motion to approve the proposed change in hours? Someone's phone just moved.
So I'd move to accept the library director's recommendation with respect to returning to 6 extra hours or normal hours of operation as of May 3rd, with capacity limits in place until such time as he comes back to discuss that with the trustees.
Thank you. Moved by Mr. Penders, second by Christine Igo Freeman. All in favor, starting with Deb Stone.
I approve.
Christine Igo Freeman.
I approve.
Catherine Uden.
Approve.
Joyce Parlapiano.
I approve.
Kevin Penders.
Yes.
And Colin Ernst, I approve. 6-0.
Thank you very
Excellent.
much. I will say that this library has been one of the examples for the state as far as opening. When we opened back in July, the faces that I got at the Zoom meeting thought I had 3 heads. And then when I mentioned that the friends were having a book sale, they thought I was really off my rocker. But you know what? Things have been done correctly. It's been done safe. We're not, haphazard in any way. And we'll continue doing this. And I actually have a sales meeting tomorrow, and I can't wait to broadcast this, especially to the libraries that are finally opening up, that we're going to be at 100% very, very shortly. So thank you.
Thank you. Great team, great leadership.
And I will say that the staff thanks you too for the decision.
And we thank the staff. All right, July 4th.
Yeah, so July 4th falls on a Sunday. So I checked other libraries, what they were doing, and they're actually going to be closed on July the 3rd. So I have a request that we also close our library on July the 3rd for the 4th of July weekend.
Feedback?
So will you be open on the 5th?
No. So how it works, if there's a holiday on a Sunday, we'd be closed on a Monday. So in essence, we'd have the 3rd off, the 4th, and the 5th. So it'd be Saturday through Monday, and we'd be back open on July the 5th, Tuesday. No, excuse me, 6th. Yeah, 6th, Tuesday.
But just to be clear, you're closed on the Sunday anyhow.
We are, yeah. We're going to be closed for the holiday, yeah. And we weren't going to be open anyway.
Right. You were going to be closed on the Sunday, and you're going to functionally celebrate it on the Monday.
Correct.
So this would be an additional closure.
Yes, it'd be that Saturday.
What's the library done in the past? I know it only falls in this fashion every, 7 years. But similarly, when there's I guess when it falls on Friday or Saturday.
I know for other holidays and that, there's not many. I mean, it's just Christmas and New Year's. We have done that in the past, but I can't recall what the library. I don't think since I've been here, that 4th of July has fallen on a Sunday. So, I was just looking at what other libraries did, or are doing, and I know what I did in East Bridgewater. So I was just going on that route, but I could go back and see. I have to go back a few years.
I don't have a strong feeling one way or the other. I was just more curious what's been done in Foxborough in the past. I guess, Kevin, you're the only one that's been part of the board long enough to maybe have had this click in the calendar in this fashion, or if other organizations that the rest of the trustees have been in outside of the library, how you've handled this. Again, I don't have a strong opinion. I just try to get context is all.
Coinciding with the longevity of my service on the board, Colin, goes my memory. So, I'm going to readily admit I don't recall how we voted on this in the past. I don't have a strong feeling about it either. I just wanted everybody to be aware and an acknowledgement that we're not talking about closure for one day here. We're talking about closure for 2 days. It doesn't grossly offend me that we'd be closed on July 3rd and July 5th. I just didn't want folks to think that by voting on this, we were somehow open on Monday as well. And that, in reality, we're talking about recognizing our Day of Independence twice, which is fine because, my understanding is that the folks that, in my opinion, it's fine because the folks that are working on Saturday wouldn't necessarily be working on Monday. So this is a way of capturing both sides of our shift and saying thank you to both of them. So I personally am on board with the request. I just wanted to make sure everybody was aware that that's really what we were doing here.
I would imagine the demand for that weekend would be off anyway. If in fact we are going to see people return to being able to do more. I don't know that they're going to run out and go to the beach or the Cape, but historically, I would imagine it's going to be a less of a demand for that day, for that weekend, for that week, probably even.
Yeah. I think what you're going to see this year, I was talking to, I think it was Margie about it, and maybe Jessica as well. We were talking about, when families go away, 4th of July weekend, I think that people are going to be going away all summer because they've been, I know I'm going on 3 vacations because I've been locked up like a caged animal here. I can't wait to get out of Massachusetts and do something. So I think you're going to see a lot of that. People
Pent up demand. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
I know bookings are up. What I heard today on a report, people in their 65 and plus. So it's a lot of the town.
Other feedback? Catherine, Deb, Christine?
I think it's a great, I like what Kevin said. We're kind of getting both ends of the spectrum.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little, some time off for everybody. It's good.
Well-deserved time off.
Mm-hmm.
Do we have to vote on the Monday as well, or are we just voting on the Saturday?
It'd be the Saturday.
The Monday's already in place, right, in the calendar?
Yeah, that's state. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yep.
Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to close the library at the request of the director to celebrate the 4th of July holiday on Saturday, July 3rd.
Moved by Deb Stone, seconded by Catherine Newton. Any discussion? All in favor, starting with Deb.
I approve. I'm for it.
Christine Igo Freeman.
I approve.
Catherine Newton.
Approve.
Joyce Parlifiano.
I approve.
Kevin Penders.
Aye.
And Colin Ernst, I approve. 6-0-0. Happy 4th of July. All righty. Anything else to cover before?
I just want to go over what we're going to discuss next month. I just wrote it down. I just want to make sure. So we'll have Jessica. I'll invite Jessica to talk about the summer reading program. At the top of the meeting, we'll do the restructuring of offices, and we'll have a discussion on the Spinny Speaker Series and anything else that comes up. Website, Corona, COVID, town meeting.
Right. Excellent. Thanks for recapping that. Deb, would you like? Oh, Christine.
When is town meeting? Do If anyone has it handy. If not, don't worry about it.
I think Pam's looking right now.
Oh, thank you. I was just curious.
May 10th?
May 10th.
May 10th.
Thank
May
you.
10th, yes.
Anything else? With that, once again, Deb, thank you for your years of leadership and years of service and being a great trustee with all of us. And if you would like to make the motion to adjourn your last meeting.
I would. So I make a motion to adjourn our April meeting. Thanks, everybody.
Moved by Deb, seconded by Mr. Penders. All in favor?
Right.
We got to go around again, right? We got to do it one person by person.
We do?
Sorry.
We do.
We do. Deb.
No, I don't approve. No, I approve.
Christine.
No. I don't want Deb to go. Approve.
Okay. Catherine.
Approve.
Joyce.
I can approve. Yeah. Thanks.
Evan.
I'm inclined to abstain, but I will instead just approve.
And I approve. And with great thanks to Deb, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.